a bit flustered, but definitely ready to now take a game of their own here in this best-of-5 series to try and get themselves into the North American LCS. His teammate, we heard Slushy, looking to keep that spot, so he can make his way off.
Yeah, just do the same.
Cali Trolls, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Said Slushy.
First pick is here. Please. It's one of those things where I'm like,
The
yeah,
bands,
thank you.
The
Thank
bands,
you. It's what I thought was going to
same.
happen last game.
Bands stay the same. The picks do not. That's exactly what the the analyst desk was just speaking about. There's just too much in between Azir and the next champion if it's left up for it to go anywhere else but the first pick.
Yeah, I was expecting this to happen with exactly the same bands. Just test them out, say, okay, we messed up in the order of which we pick ban, or what we pick the Azir first, and this is what they should have done last game. Because what ends up happening here is if teammate does have a counter for this, is able to pull out a game and a victory over this Azir, then you think, oh no, we have one more game. Instead of if you have done this last time, you would have realized they have a counter to Azir, so you'd ban it earlier in game 2. Now we're in game 2, you get it picked up for yourself. We see what ends up happening here. Tristana once again for Nian. I like this. Very self-sufficient, good wave clear, good early game for him. And he doesn't have to worry about trading in lane.
We've seen a lot of these series, or I should say players in these series, continue to play the same champion if they get the chance. Don't go away from the comfort 2 to 3 times in a row. We see Pobelter playing Victor in their series for CLG and other players doing that. So again, like you said, well, that almost confused me, but then I realized he was just hovering Graves. They have the Tristana, but yeah, just getting what feels comfortable. And again, it's going to be Chunky Fresh's Olaf as ManCloud gets the Azir and the Alistar for Baby this time instead of Dodo.
Yeah, he also ran Flash in the top lane on that Olaf last game. I would like to see the Ghost come through. I feel like Ghost on Olaf gives you a lot of power to get into the backline, especially when they were up against an Azir in this team composition that wanted to just run at you. I understand that he has the ultimate and you want to try to flash over it, but if you're flashing over an ultimate to get to one person, you're in their team, and then your team can't back you up. So might as well just NASCAR at them and get there really quickly.
So no Lulu composition coming in for Team 8. They say it's going to be Victor in the mid lane for Golden Glue, something he played towards the end along with his Azir. If it wasn't going to be that Varus or one-time Vladimir, still has some champions deep within that pool he may choose. And the Braum picked up on the side of Team 8. Looks like they get a similar type of composition that they had last time that they're working with. Will Steelback take things into his own hands here? They already have a good damage source coming in. Let's see what he decides.
They already have a lot of damage, a lot of threats, a lot of peel.
Yeah.
So whatever AD carry he takes. Okay, if he goes back to the Sivir, it is the nerfed Sivir. So instead of having the 60% initial burst, it's 40, 50, 60, depending on the rank of the ultimate. And then people who walk into it get the same duration as you instead of the full duration. So a little bit nerfed there to Steelback's ultimate and the team fighting, but they are still going to go with it. And once again, another speed boost here. It's not the Lulu, but it's a speed boost for the Olaf to get into the back line.
Right.
And now it's up against a less mobile Victor in the mid lane. So he does have a way to get to this target with no problem.
Who himself looks like he's going to be running a bit of Quick Feet Ghost if he doesn't change the Summoner spell. Golden Glue knows this is going to be a difficult game to keep himself alone on the back line. Seeing for last pick here, Cali Trolls played Shen last game, still up. Can provide a bit of safety for the team if necessary. Just hovering right now as they decide what to go. You can actually see Nian with the book here during Champion Select for teammate and history coach. A few words from the back.
Well, Cali Trolls was always the shot caller of the team, and it's well-known information that he's leaving the team after these matches. So they've been slowly but surely integrating Nian to the shot caller captain position, so that he can take over the reins completely.
Interesting. Not too many AD carries do you hear kind of the shot callers or early game tellers. A lot that needs to be focused on there, but it can still be done. See how it starts to work out for these guys.
Yeah, usually when I see an AD carry shot caller, they favor lane swaps just so they can start looking around the map, calling around the map, not tied up and trading in lane, and able to control a little bit more. But they do have Porpoise on this team on Team 8. Porpoise is very, very vocal, very self-sufficient, very smart guy. So his jungle movements, he always seems to be in the right place at the right time, whether it's a counter jungle or an initiation. So Porpoise, I assume, takes over a lot of the early game responsibilities here. And then that frees up Nian even more to get through the laning phase, transition, get to those team fights that he likes so much.
Well, we'll see if the team fights can be brought out by Team Imagine this time. falling behind a little bit early last game. I think they know that teammates going to try to kind of dictate a quick pace here once again in the early part. And hopefully they can get themselves on the right foot here.
Yeah, you do have a Zir, you do have a Sivir, you have a lot of team fighting here for Imagine. That's what they're going to be looking for mid-late game.
So we're hoping to get out of them. Keep sharing your thoughts on the series over on Twitter. Tweet hashtag IMG win or hashtag T8 win to @LOL Esports. We'll see how the Van vote is changing once we are on the Rift. And it doesn't look like the champions have changed too much for Nien and the rest of the team. Just a few here and there. However, Imagine is going to swap things up here and try to get a new composition to see if they can get their first win of the series as we get into Game 2.
Yeah, pretty much just a plug-and-play Victor here against the Azir.
Right.
Brings the wave clear, burst mage, and Victor actually treads that line of being defined as a burst mage, control mage, because usually control mages are heavy wave clear, longer range, like Zirene, like Azir. They control choke points, right? He has gravity field, he can clear waves instantaneously, but he's also a burst mage, almost like a Veigar, almost like these other guys on the other side of the spectrum that lack wave clear. So this is why he's so strong, because he has so many tools, and his biggest weakness is just that he's mid-range, right? There's ways to get to him. He doesn't have a move block that gets him away from fights.
Ooh, I like it already.
Winning the fights already.
Nice dodge on the soldier, staying just out of range, connecting with the lasers. We saw this happen last time as well. Chunky Fresh back and forth, making sure he's got a big pickup on the axe, and again does the same thing he did last time. Goes ahead, makes sure that his ward can be safely placed. I like it. I just want to see everybody get this aggressive. You almost know nothing's going to happen, but it still spices things up. It gets it going. There's that chance that somebody might mess up and flash into a wall.
It's exactly.
You never
it's
know.
Still a little risky too, because Porpoise could have been able to just walk up there, right? Once you go out of the bush, does he come up behind you? Does he fill that void? Is he sitting on the right side? So you always have to be able to take that calculated risk and just think, okay, he placed his ward down here around this time. There's no way he's getting up here. So yeah, forcing the ward in there, really well done by Chunky Fresh. See what information he gets from it, because it's not actually a very deep ward. He'll see if they go for a Krug start, but he's not going to be able to see the lane swap here because they're coming in from the middle side of the map here for Nien and Dodo, because they know this is not scouted.
Be nice for them. Squeak right in, get themselves a deep ward here. And the vision, or just knowledge. They're going for knowledge this time. They're hoping to find the bottom side, but it looks like Moon and Chunky Fresh are going to start on that strong side of the map.
Moon started on the weak side of the map last time in the lane swap.
Right.
Didn't expect it to be a lane swap right off the bat because they didn't have the deeper wards.
I bet she's really happy.
Oh yeah, he's very happy that he didn't run into that. Last time it just slowed him down immensely, especially since he gave solo experience to Chunky Fresh and he used his smite on the first camp.
Just think about it. Right now, Moon would be, if you kind of flipped it mirrored, down to mid and then down to the bottom lane into the turret. Like, that's what he was doing at this point. And as a jungler, that just feels bad. Now in his jungle still, definitely having a better time. And it looks like they are going to get that help up there for Chunky Fresh already. Nice timing, but it is warded out with that placed ward that Baby.
Gotta watch out.
All right, sorry, Dodo did get in.
4-on-3 again. They cut him off between the turrets, though.
Deja vu. Looks like we're going to get a little replay here. And I don't think they're going to be able to get under the turret. Very, very close to being able to take down Moon. That Gromp ward almost paid off for them. We'll see how they get out of this one, though.
They got
That's a lot of resources.
They got two flashes for it. Burn exhaust. That's all they had to do. So they get those 5-minute summoner spells. And they do get the blue once again.
And look at this ping as well. They say they're going for blue. No movement, though. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to do much to get it back. Porpoise feels very nice now, and Moon will not be feeling good about this early game. Very quickly, teammate once again put their foot down. Imagine up in gold, as they've been able to do a little bit of CSing in the lanes, but we'll see how this kind of pans out for teammate with the flashes being down. That'll be effective for the next 5 or so minutes.
So you think about why this is happening.
Ooh.
Take a step back.
Ooh.
Man-Cloud getting chunked out.
Man-Cloud taking a step back as well.
Yeah, you take a step back and you think about why is this happening? Why are they being allowed to have 4 people rotate on that side? It's because they're clearing top side of their jungle, and then teammate is going into the left side of the jungle on that quadrant for Imagine, and then they're going through there. Whereas Moon is going from bottom side of the map to the left side, so they kind of meet up at the same part, as opposed to Moon and Chunky Fresh going bottom side to right side of the map, 4-man pushing turrets, and then you just have 4 people on each turret, and then you just trade turrets. Right? You have 3 people push turrets, you have 4 people push turrets, and you just trade them. They're not going for that. Instead, Imagine is saying, we want to meet this.
They're going to counter it.
Yeah.
Try to fight it.
But they're losing summoner spells for it, and it's happened multiple times now.
It seems like while trying to adapt for it, they're almost not ready in the end. You know it's coming, but the positioning just isn't there. The LCS teams have seen those multiple dives early in the game. The few wards are in place already. But here, it's 2 games in a row that's actually thrown Imagine off. In the second time, they were ready for it. So
Yeah.
It's difficult. Teammate definitely knows how to execute here against teams that are not ready.
It's almost a very stubborn mindset to try and keep your turret, but you're up against a Tristana, so over time she's going to shove in and eventually get that turret. But this is what I like to see. Moon having early game pressure. We saw last game, no early game pressure. Part of that was the jungle start being interrupted, but also when he showed up to team fights, he was just not effective. His ultimates didn't seem... I almost forgot there was a Gragas in the game.
Right.
Because his ultimates just seemed non-existent.
When they said explosive cask on the desk, we were thinking, where were those in the fights? They almost didn't have time to use them or position. And even right now, Golden Glue is playing super safe. They can't get anything on them with an attempt there.
But even when you think of explosive cask, it isn't always a team fight thing. It's also a pick tool.
True.
Body slam flash into somebody. When you hit level 6, you cask them back into your team without a reaction available to them because they're stunned.
Quick 1-2 punch.
Boom. We didn't see any of that.
Very true. It actually seems like it was almost a priority to only use that Olaf to make a teleport home guard, to get the Olaf in first and see if then the cast can come from that.
Yeah.
Maybe a few too many things to put in place before trying to get the whole carriage moving. Chunky Fresh taking a bit of damage. Don't walk to the turret. Yeah.
It's also not the easiest thing in the world, going back to explosive casks, to get one effectively against a Braum. He'll
That's
shield,
a very
he'll
good
stop
point.
it in front of them.
It's going to be even harder this game.
No explosive cask, you know, not level 6 yet. He's going for early game pressure here. Shoved up. I like to see this because the Tristana is always going to push a lane. And here we go for the back.
Over eyes. Can he get him in the jump? He doesn't have very good place to go on that one. He is going to try to get the flash out. He's alive. No pressure from the mid lane. ManCloud actually to ward down. And a very nice attempt coming from Imagine there, but teammate able to squeak out.
Yeah, Moon had no flash there because of the previous dive where he had to blow his in the top lane.
Yeah.
And that means that Dodo just has to stand in front of him, and he blocks him from getting to Nian. Blue Baby's flash to attempt to make that play as well. So Nian, nice and safe.
That would have been really good coming in for Imagine there, because they're still within that 5 minutes of down flashes for both Chunky Fresh and Moon. So to pick something up there instead of lose more would have been huge for them. Unfortunately, they kind of just give a little bit of information to where the jungler is, and they get a flash from Nian.
Yeah, and like you were saying, it would have been really good for Imagine. And I personally, from a gameplay perspective, I like to target teams' shot callers. As a jungler, I like to go after the shot caller. Whether it's the enemy jungler, I go invade him, put pressure on him, to try to tilt top laner. Yeah, it's almost like tilting them, but the thing is when you put a shot caller behind, they have to be an even better shot caller to actually assess the game. Because if you feel weak in the game and your teammates are, you know, what if you're even, right? Still in the game, but you're the one who's behind, are you still going to be able to make those aggressive calls because you're trusting more in your team as opposed to your individual skill? Knowing that your team can take a fight, not just you, takes another level of shot calling up.
It's always easy to second guess yourself as well when you're behind, and that's when things start to get a little chaotic as the shot caller. You want to be able to deliver.
Not level 6 yet. He's just going to go down here
all the time. Going to give a little damage to the turret as well on the explosive charge. He goes down though. It actually doesn't trigger over very nicely since they already had aggro onto Porpoise. They're going to go ahead to get the dragon in the bot lane. Looks like that is going to be it. Bottom turret won't go down, but teammate will be able to grab that top.
Yeah, just this series of pink wards. The Pixel Brush pink ward able to just spot out anybody coming through. Better able to sneak people in. Just 2 people got through for that just walk up dive.
Yeah, a little better warding as well coming in from Imagine here. Could start to help them pick up more of those dragons. We'll hopefully stave off these deaths in the top lane. Chunky Fresh is
going to go for another.
Really big. And I actually like that teammates going for Chunky Fresh this game. He doesn't have a Lulu to build him up, so the amount of damage he's taken here, he's not going to be able to run in fight.
He's got 6 and flash.
Chaos Storm out. They're going to be able to get that bite on Porpoise just out of range. They actually give it over to Golden Glue very nicely. Any pressure around the map, however, from Imagine,
what do they lose for this?
They're going into mid.
Yeah, they lost bottom turret, and they need to get this top turret, so Nian needs to stay up here pushing this. They're going to lose mid turret while all of this is happening, and Steelback is able to push down the bottom.
Oh, should be all right. There we go. Calitrolls takes a little bit of damage, but he had a nice taunt on to kind of stop the damage from how far the Team Imagine could get off of that push. And Neon answers in the top lane. So a bit of back and forth. Teammate, a nice clip, keeps the game even here. 2 turrets to 1 and 1 dragon to Imagine.
Yeah, despite Chunky Fresh getting camped and everybody grouping up on him, they're able to take advantages across the map instead of trying to assist him. So right now he's kind of the sacrifice, but he's staying pretty decently up in CS. He's doing a good job in that department, but relative to the rest of the game as an Olaf, you have to take that into account. Especially when there's an Azir and a Victor in this game. Or else it just becomes the Azir and Victor show, and who can really end up getting down for their damage. And then at that point, it's usually Azir favored because of his range.
Victor always yes in that mid lane, but I guess that's what you get out of the lane swap. These guys haven't had too much pressure back and forth. We did see Golden Glue push ManCloud out of lane in that first instance of the kind of level 2-3. Nothing has really come of that though. Let's see what they can do with these forward wards. Teammates already got a ward onto red, looking to deny that as they push their vision forward here. Chunky Fresh doing what he can, but just watching things get taken away from him.
Steal back, level 9. Highest level member in the game at the moment, actually.
Oh, there it is. That's the ultimate they were looking for. It's going to be the tank for Baby. He's 6. Ultimate's up if they even need it here, but they hold the resources knowing the damage they're going to be able to do. ManCloud gets pushed out of lane as there was a fight top. That aggression there made Golden Glue feel like he could go for a bit of an engage. And here we even have Chunky Fresh Dodo going at it. Dodo's going to have to Glacial Fissure on this one. Knows that Nian's going to be coming up. Do they try to bait this one in? And it looks like Chunky Fresh gets baited. Ragnarok used, and he actually gets out of the crowd control just off the edge as well, so it works out for him. Nian's going to pick some up in the bottom lane, though. A lot of chaos being created here as turrets going down coast to coast. Imagine still pushing off of that hit onto Cali Trolls in the top lane. They'll go ahead and get a second turret there as well.
Oh, man. Sometimes being a top laner and competitive, you're like, oh, they're so skilled. They get to play Gangplank and Fiora.
Yeah, but you know what?
Sometimes being a top laner competitive just sucks.
Exactly. They're always like, you know, we're tanks now. We're on an island. What do? We want diversity. And
you get camped.
Yeah, now we can build these guys that kill and do damage. But now we get camped all the time. It's never, you never get it. Your cake and eat it too in top lane, I guess.
It doesn't matter what you play in the top lane. When this stuff happens, it's just, I'm getting camped.
Camped all day.
I can't even save my turrets, and your team's not going to help you either at that point.
We're going.
Because well, even when they send like 3 people up there, you have to abandon the turret. Whether or not you die,
it's on them. They teleport right back into it.
Yeah.
It's on them. They ask for it.
But yeah, imagine getting more turrets for the trade and the deaths, and end up after that dive on Cali getting 2 in the top lane. So they're up 4-2 in turrets and have about 1,000 gold lead now.
Those are definitely looking good in this game. Oh, don't have too many spikes they have to rely or work off here. They can kind of just keep flowing with the amount of damage they're doing.
ManCloud's going for the Rylai's Crystal Scepter first build, not an Asher's Tooth build. So he's not going to have the CDR.
I wondered when he was going to deviate, or if he was just straight Ludens like old.
He's not going to have the CDR, which I think is very important early on. On almost every mid lane mage, you always see people get a little bit. That's why Athene's, you know, despite the mana, Athene's and Morellos, these things are just so great. Or else you see people just go for like a tier or something. Or they'd stop on the Chalice.
Yep.
Even Boots for Golden Glue in terms of cooldown reduction.
Trying to think of the advantage, or more just like preference.
It gives them a team fight, and the Qs slow people down, so you have more catch. So if you do end up getting a Q slow or an auto attack on somebody,
just that comfort he's used to if he's been playing that way.
And your team is built for rundown as well, right? If you can kite people around to stop them from getting in on you, and then kite around in circles and have the Olaf do damage, have the Sivir run in, then you're in a really good spot. So I understand the choice.
Okay. Not doing too bad in that mid lane. Has brought himself up 3 CS, but keeps it even this game. He did go behind in game 1. See where they keep moving their wards. Much better warding here from Imagine in game 2. Pink wards being pushed up. Now they're getting a sense of security in the placement of what they're doing. Really being able to get themselves in good spots. 3 wards actually kind of hovering around the pinks of teammate, which means great spots.
Right out of range.
All the knowledge, yep.
Right out of range. 10 seconds on the Dragon as well. People grouping up for it. You saw Nien back right before this. 80 carries at similar spikes, save for Zerker Greaves. And actually the Cloak of Agility. So it's Zerker Greaves versus Cloak of Agility coming into this. Rylai's just now completed. So ManCloud an okay spot for team fighting.
Both 80 carries are actually, no, not both. Very, very close to that Infinity Edge, but are fighting with Infinity Edge Gold right now. They would love.
I want to go back.
Don't fight. Just 1 second.
Yeah, but you have to fight over this dragon. Somebody started it. It was up right at the spawn.
Explosive Cask is up on the haunt as well. Pretty much all ultimates necessary. Baby goes for Golden Glue. He gets knocked back. Actually, Emperor's divided to safety on that one. Golden Glue gets the stand united as well. Can fight from the outside. Starting to deal a lot of damage. Steelbacks getting the auto attacks that he wants on priority targets. But Golden Glue and Nian able to deliver from the back line. Golden finally falls, but Nian standing tall.
Still here.
Over the wall.
Man's still
One
here.
last shot. And it looks like they come up with a few kills that they wanted. Chunky Fresh is able to clean a few up at the janitorial duty. And ManCloud, nobody was focusing. This guy, one last hit from the soldier. I was watching Nian almost get out by the skin of his teeth, but ManCloud was standing there with 100% HP.
Yeah, there's the Rylai's coming into play right there for ManCloud, but the Emperor's Divide a little bit off there. Golden Glue able to get out, and then they had to spend so much to actually pick up that victor in the middle of the fight. And Chunky Fresh, the ward he TP'd to was the one all the way down at the bottom. Chunky Fresh has to jog to get into this fight. It takes him a long time. Golden Glue delivered, Emperor's divided into safety, able to flash away, then he gets the ultimate. And Chunky Fresh, we talked about how he TP'd. It was a while ago. He's finally in this fight. Now Chunky Fresh is here to pick up Golden Glue, throws on the ultimate, and able to pick them up. But you already saw in the end, jump into the back line, kill a lot of members of Imagine, and now we have to go back to this, because everything all said and done, Dragon's still up.
Yep.
Back to positions, gentlemen.
You saw the idea there. Chunky Fresh would come from behind the team. Too late to the party, though. That teleport would have been exactly where Death Brush is.
Yeah,
if they could have gotten that ward.
If that Emperor's Divide had just been taken a little bit more facing down, it would have been perfect. But right here, Dodo a little far forward there.
Teammate more than happy to fight. Moon tries to get the body slam smite down. Dodo very, very low. He does go down to an axe over the wall. Chunky Fresh throws Ragnarok on so he can get in and out. Baby's hoping he can do the same. And they do still have a pretty tanky front line to be going in and out. Dragging over to teammate, but they are able to get a few kills on the side of Imagine there.
ManCloud, a little bit of poke, but I was surprised Moon didn't go for even more of an engage. He had Flash, he had Body Slam, he had Explosive Cask. Could have been a separate there, but his carries, worried a little bit about them. Just back off. One kill, not greedy there for Imagine. At that point, there really is nothing to fight over because the Dragon's gone.
Dragon's gone. They have Scuttle, so you have to be very careful about your positioning. A lot of catch potential here on the side of teammate once those fights start. Mid lane, Golden Glue low on, they're both low on mana, but that's a blue buff for ManCloud here. I don't know why he didn't try to take more of that. Maybe just because he can't see what's on the Fog of War on the other side. Simple as that. 4-2 in turrets. Just about 5. Well, it's about 1,000 gold lead. I was looking at it wrong for Imagine. They did have this last time. They started to creep up a little bit onto Team 8, but that did not stop Team 8 from engaging fights they had just lost. Oh, we got 3-0'd? Let's take the same fight. And Team 8 was definitely able to adapt very quick. You can expect that again.
Yeah, same fight, different time. Different time, different items showing up to that fight. So ManCloud's going to go for the Gnasher's Tooth second after the Rylai's, but you saw the Rylai's come up pretty big in that fight.
Yeah.
Despite it being a 4v5 for a large majority of that fight before Chunky Fresh got in, the cleanup, it definitely would not have been possible.
It's super synergized as well because you have the Sivir, so as they're going slower, you're also still going faster, and it just catapults everybody into a good spot.
Exactly. You're able to close that distance more effectively. Baby! Oh.
Oh, baby, indeed.
They got Golden, though.
How are they coming out of this one alive? They kind of just surprised Team 8 and come out of the woodwork on that one. Team 8 was expecting only a few members. The body slam hits. That's going to be the boomerang on the way back. Tells you to duck. Did not duck. Porpoise goes down. Steal back again. Following up on kills from Moon here and the rest of the team. They're starting to get some good kills and turrets.
Oh, man. You get the stun off, but Cocoons aren't going to stop the momentum of that belly. He's still going to slam into you. Nice pick up there, and that was a great team fight there that just, Baby's coming around the corner. Why is he even there? Jumps in, nice headbutt pulverize. And Baby is the shot caller of this team for Imagine. This is a fight that he wanted to take, and he took it on a great spike too. Already attack speed in for ManCloud. ManCloud has the slow still, and you saw the catch, and the person that he was able to get, Golden Glue, right off the bat.
They're hanging on a ward.
Oh yeah, they're hanging on a ward. They want to clear it, and he's like, I got Golden Glue. Everybody come help me. Everybody get in here.
They
Moon,
see that.
Flash, body slam flash. There's the cask, spreads everybody out, and there are soldiers on top of it. Perfect play there. And then Moon, another pickup here. This was the early game that Moon needed to have last game to pick up a win, but he's having it this game.
Yeah. Hey, we said he was hard on himself.
It's better late than never.
He does not like making mistakes whatsoever. A good game, he will still have his head in his hands sometimes due to his bad plays in the good game. So this guy definitely wants to be doing better each and every time. Very, very hard on himself, and it's paying off here in game 2.
Well, it's paid off in his career as well. Like I talked about, this guy was a diamond player and then a platinum player right before that. Yep. And he's pretty much the dream for the average player. I want to get better. I want to put in the hours. I want to keep motivated. I want to get up there to the LCS, and this is how far it's taken him.
There's a few of those people that'll message you and be like, hey, I'll see you on that stage one day, you know? I'll be in the LCS.
And they actually
do. Good luck,
it.
dude. Yeah, then they show up, and it's kind of amazing sometimes how much hard work has to be put in between that just level of solo queue to challenger and then LCS. There's gigantic gaps there in the caliber of play.
Yeah, it usually shows adaptation too. When you're really hard on yourself and you actually continue to get better. Look at this Moon. Caught a little bit out of position. Yeah, when you're really hard on yourself and you take that adaptation and you get better, might see even more improvement throughout the series. Because this is a guy, the first time I saw him, I was not impressed. I believe he was on either 5th or 6th place challenger team subbing, and it might have been Winter Fox at the time. I think it was. He came in, and his performance was subpar for challenger. And now he's just getting better and better and better as the split goes on at an alarming rate. Chunky Fresh wants to duel in the end. It's not a duel, and you have a turret.
Oh, unfair, bro. Come to the party. That's all right,
but
though.
he drew the Shen, and he was going after Nien. But they're not going to be able to do this turret.
No.
Or this Baron. He's big. He's like a turret.
Basically a turret. So it was a try, though. Imagine that's not something we would have seen from them first game. They are attempting to do more. Talking a little bit about Moon just a bit ago and how the team itself kind of struggled, but they had a lot of changes coming up. A team that was a few members here, a few members there, finally merged in the end with Odyssey to pretty much have what you have now. And it takes a while for all the players to kind of find their own role if things are changing like that. And I think Imagine has been doing that towards the end of the Challenger Series, finding the style of play they want and being able to execute it. Right now, it's only going to get harder in the end. 5-0-2 this game. Talked a bit about he came in very confident this season and then fell a little bit flat himself. Definitely looking to prove something here as well.
Yeah, 100% kill participation for him. Only member on his team to have that accolade in this game. And it looks like it's a Zeke's rush as well for Dodo. Dodo goes Sightstone, Moby Boots, doesn't upgrade to face. No face the mountain here for this Braum. Not spending money on that. It's a waste of gold. Goes immediately towards the Zeke's Harbinger. There's a couple things about Zeke's Harbinger that are actually very interesting on this patch. First off, if you read the 5.17 patch notes, there's one that says Zeke's Harbinger no longer gives 250 extra HP, because it's giving 250 extra HP. So not only does it give you tank stats, but if you look at just Zeke's Harbinger by itself, crit is the most gold per point stat, but I'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, we got
We didn't know it's not out just yet. Oh, the Dodo stopped the barrel.
Wow, yeah, you were talking about the shield being up at the time of explosive cast. That one was just poured out for the homies, doing no damage across the board, but Dodo
they
does
got golden
fall.
Glue, though. They got
Nien's going to be going down. He can't get himself in a good spot. Porpoise couldn't even peel, and Cali Trolls had already expended all of his resources. Team Imagine completely wipe out Team 8 at the Dragon. Porpoise is forced to run for the hills.
Yeah, they were able to get Golden Glue off on the back line, and then their front line was able to kill Nien simultaneously.
No peel for Nien in that, unfortunately.
Yeah, the barrel at the start, though, stopped by Dodo's wall, but at the same time, it wasn't anything.
You can see the confidence of Imagine on that, though. Sometimes that'll kind of deter your call. You say, oh, wait, we missed a very big initiation. Nothing came.
Speaking of deterring your call, though, this is an Elise that wants to get in on it.
Is it Baby?
Headbutted him back.
Porpoise is going down whether he likes it or not. No, I say he was going to go in and just go down valiantly, but a great bump by Baby at a perfect time there. Synergize with the team, they get out with Baron. Second game Baron is now Team Imagine's. This was Team 8's already by game 1. Let's see what Imagine can do with it now.
Yep. Early smite there, and then the pickup from Porpoise. So Moon looked a little flustered in that fight, but you can see right there, Golden Glue, soldiers after him, and then an Olaf after Nien.
The teleport to the bottom side worked this time.
This time it worked.
It was exactly in the right spot he needed to be. See where those levels are going. You said Steelback was the highest. He's level 15 right now, and that still stands as the highest level in the game. He'll also hit that 3rd level ultimate. Very nice for them. Did you just steal that? believe he just stole that. Nicely done. So two blue buffs over to Team Imagine now, and they are really giving Team 8 a run for their money as they start pressuring them back. The Barons now to push up the waves. Chunky Fresh staying with the team with that TP down, but they are giving a ping to the sideways. They do not want to lose this map pressure on the board here.
You see the Zeke's completed for Nien now.
Yep.
100% crit coming in for this Tristana when he ends up walking up, or at least very close to it. He's at the 90% when he walks up and has that on.
So it takes a little bit longer to stack.
Yeah, yeah.
Charges 8 seconds now instead of 6.
Yes.
So you can use it. A little more time for Nien to be doing damage.
Yeah, no, I was talking about crit being per point.
Right.
Look at Brawler's Glove, which is 400,
yep.
400, 8% crit. So crit is valued by about 50 gold per percent. And when you're giving 50% to somebody, you are giving them 2,500 gold worth of combat stats for those 8 seconds as a support. You're giving them 2,500 gold worth of stats.
Damn. That's a lot of gold.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
That's less than the actual cost of the item.
I somewhat get that as a support, but it's way cooler for the AD carry.
Oh yeah, you're basically giving them a 7th item. It's amazing. Best AD carry item.
It still feels great to
item.
build though. I love it. Great job, design team. Zeke's probably one of my favorite items recently, and used quite a bit here as the supports pick it up. It's just necessary for your AD carry if you have somebody like Nien, or I should say Tristana. I'm sure Nien likes it too. Well, looking across the board, Rabadon's finished on both sides for the mid laners. A little bit more power and love to be delivered from them. We see a Hex Drinker as well, kind of built up by Chunky Fresh. He wants to stand tall every last second in these fights.
Wants the damage, wants to be able to just dive the back line, whether it's just Nien, which he got solo Nien last time,
yeah.
or Nien and Golden Glue. Give him that damage and survivability mixture. I feel like that ManCloud didn't complete the Nashers. He went off the build a little bit, got the death cap. See if he goes for it next, because he's sitting on Stinger.
So why do you like it?
You don't you already have 10% cooldown from it.
Yeah.
You sacrifice a little bit of attack speed, 80 AP, but you get the death cap. But you're also not getting the on-hit passive from Azir, because the soldiers don't apply the Nasher on hit.
Right.
So it's okay to sit on Stinger, because then you get your burst item a little earlier with the death cap.
Trying to get farther down the build path by cutting one off. A few corners here and there. Don't think he has too many places to go. Porbus comes down the water spout, gets taken out, and now they're going to start moving up. You see that Cali Trolls is doing what he can for as long as he can in the top lane, but that's already called back. They're going to need him on this turret right away. See how much they can get on it. Actually, they're going to engage, knowing that he goes back. He instantly teleported away from the wave. Dodo's going to get the ultimate. That's Stand United onto Braum. They're not going to be able to give that to Nien if he gets close to the fight here. And I think Imagine has to start worrying about the turret. They're losing a minion wave. Things could get scary. Good communication by them so far. ManCloud knows he can just shift out of the base if necessary, but they go over to the mid lane, just around the horn here. They didn't even have to fully exit. Nien back and forth, trying to cut them off or route them in a different way, but Team Imagine not caring right now, and they're going to go ahead and take down the first inhibitor of the game. 16 to 8. Very nicely done. Much different from game 1.
Okay.
What were you butting about?
Yeah, the inhibitor shows 66 HP left, but it's actually dead.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. It looks like it's alive, but it's not. Baby doesn't get Nien in that flash pulverize, but they do end up going all the way through for Dodo. They have the Sivir ultimate still, even after the pick they got onto Porpoise, they still had this available. But the turnaround here from ManCloud, the presence of mind to stay in the base, 1v3, and then solo Golden Glue. See right here, even with the Stinger, he gets off that extra auto at the end. That's because the new Azir, when you max the W, you're already getting 10% more attack speed than you did previously on Azir.
You can see when that type of stuff happens, Golden Glue was kind of thinking what he was going to do. ManCloud was in Golden Glue's head. He said, yeah, you're probably going to walk away because you think I'm leaving. Got to feel good for Imagine right now to have that sense and that mentality in this game, especially after a game 1 loss. They have turned things around. 5-0-9 for ManCloud in the mid lane, 5-1-9 for Steelback, having a pretty good game. Even when they had the bad game last time, Steelback was still contributing, so guy to keep an eye on for the series. Could be 1-1 shortly here if a few more fights go that way now with an inhibitor down. See if Imagine can keep doing it. They have blue side all the time, so the only things that are really going to change is how they play it in that composition.
I think Teammate, if they lose this game, will probably ban Azir. They see that they are now wised up to first picking it on Imagine's side.
It'll be the same thing that happens in every series. He gets picked a few times, realize the power. Okay, we'll get him out.
I mean, the Thresh ban at Baby, he's just going to play Alistar or Braum anyway. Like,
that's
eliminating
true.
Thresh, not a huge deal. I'd get the Azir off the field. It is game-changing. It gave ManCloud, who was losing lane last time to Azir, an even lane against Golden Glue, who was pressing an advantage very heavily before.
That's true. Golden Glue was actually going really hard.
He was trying really hard this game. You saw him poke him out of lane multiple times. ManCloud was sub 100 HP in that lane, I think about twice.
Yeah.
And then he had to back off. But he still had the CS. He was still even in CS despite that.
Jazz hands.
Nobody saw what I was doing.
I know, but it looked funny to me. Zirene had jazz hands when he said that. It was hilarious. Right now, we'll see if ManCloud can throw the soldiers so they can start jazz handing a few more DPS over on the side of Team 8. Nien's been feeling the wrath of that. Trolls has to be called back once again, possibly. He actually stopped his back to keep the push on the lane. He does want to be able to help the team out immediately, though, with max resources.
Oh,
on a Porpoise, he gets deleted immediately. Dodo actually still wanted to use the ultimate if there was an engagement, and Nien, indeed, I looked up, Nien goes down in the blink of an eye. I didn't even see it. The cast goes out, and he just throws it down in front of Dodo as if he were to slip all over it, but he walked the other way. He didn't want to get his socks wet. Still goes down in the process. 2 left now for Team 8, and they're going to go right up the middle of this one, even though it's clear. I think they have time for the Nexus turret. Zirene.
Yeah, I think they do, especially since they have an Azir here. They'll get some damage on one. They can back off and do the Baron afterwards. But Golden Glue! Oh. They do so much damage.
Taken down, broken down into the components that Glue is made of. He is out. It does not look like Cali Trolls can do much. Porpoise here to offer a few cocoons and volatile spiders, but it looks like we are going to even up the series. Team Imagine coming out with a very powerful game 2 to take down Team 8 in this best of 5.
Bringing it back, fixing their pick and ban, taking the Azir first, and you saw at that point in the game, Golden Glue, if anybody was in the 1,000 range of him, they're pretty much dead with the Rylai's slow.
Crazy stuff. Smiles on the faces still. Pondering, looking at what happened. Steal back, checking a few of the stats before they head back. And we have an even Steven game here. Who's going to see who can win the next 2 to get themselves back into the LCS for Team 8, or if Team Imagine can win themselves a spot into the League Championship Series. Did not expect that to be such a comeback from Team Imagine. Definitely showing a lot of strength even after loss, coming into a best of 5. The thing I'm not worried about but interested to see is if the endurance is there as well for them in a series like this.
That's true. They did have to play pretty much BO3s. I don't think they've played a BO5 to date. Yeah, they played a BO3 against Renegades in playoffs and Cloud9 Tempest. So they haven't played a best of 5. So see if they actually have all these strategies in them moving forward.
Yeah.
But I like that they were able to adapt. When I was looking at the previous game, I was thinking Azir was a large part of how that advantage was even made for Team 8 in the first place. Take it away, see what happens. And these teams are actually more evenly matched than I thought they would be. Mid lane just seems to be a clash of heads back and forth. Whoever has what champion, they'll see if they can get an advantage there. Junglers, a little more evenly matched than I thought they would be. I thought Porpoise would have the edge there. But then Chunky and Cali Trolls both seem to not be having the best of days. And that comes down to Steelback and Nien. Steelback's consistent. Nien likes to jump in sometimes in team fights, right? We're not seeing a lot of deaths here from Steelback, but Nien, when he does get fed, he has that tendency to go a little too hard.
We did see that, especially kind of not understanding the dragon fight and jumping back to where Chunky Fresh was coming from. Kind of solidified his death in that one. But in the chaos like that, especially when teammate thought they had to lead, those are the kinds of things that happen. But that's what I like. We have a series now coming into the promotion tournament. Can't have it any other way. Now that Team Imagine have tied up the series, let's throw it over to our analyst desk to get their